Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom to Akhman Akwat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled Global Catastrophe, World War III. Right? Global Catastrophe, World War III. And this one's not so much as going into, the causes or the events that are going to take place during and leading up to World War III, but much more so Esau's pride about his denial of this event happening. Okay, now you brothers and sisters that have been staying in the know, you'll obviously be aware of a couple nights ago, Iran launched a missile barrage on Israel, and a couple managed to hit. And now, the whole United States media and Israeli media is all up in arms and all that stuff, talking about wars and repercussions, and we have to strike back, and yada, 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 and they're a weak nation, we're stronger, for lack of a better word, the big dick-waving contests, right, that they like to do. Oh, we're big and strong, other nations small and fragile. No. All right, this one's not like that. And yet, lo and behold, every time some type of major event happens, a barrage of missiles hits, or, any type of other nation makes any type of progress, the United States has to come out, and Israel has to come out, or whoever the allies are of the United States have to come out and say, no, we've got this under lock. They're not going to do anything, yada, yada, yada. Well, if they're so weak, they wouldn't have been able to bomb you in the first place, would they have? All right, if they're so weak. If they're so weak and you're so strong, they wouldn't have been able to bomb you in the first place. It would have not went through. But, lo and behold, the pride of these devils keeps on running deep. So I wanted to go ahead and we're going to get Psalms 10 and 4 and 6, Lord willing, in just a moment. But I do want to go ahead and get, two articles. Let me turn my brightness up here because I can't see a damn thing. I want to get two articles that are, that touch on this subject. The first one I saw, of course, one's 24 hours ago, one's 7 hours ago. And the one that I saw that was quite interesting, it says, it's from New York Post, and it's dealing with, Daddy Trump, right? It says, Trump says the U.S. is very close to a global catastrophe. Of course, that's where I got the title from. After Iran missiles strike Israel. World War III. We're not going to let him talk because we know how that'll work. It'll end up getting us fucked with. If it plays, it plays. But it says former president. Come on, let me pause it. All right. It says former President Donald Trump warned during a campaign event on Tuesday that the U.S. is very close. It's very close to a global catastrophe. There you go. It's very close to a global catastrophe and could be sleepwalking. All right, doing something unknowingly, and it's not fucking sleepwalking. They're doing it purposely. It says, and could be sleepwalking into World War III just hours after Iran fired nearly 200 ballistic missiles at Israel. Iran launched, I don't care about this new Range Rover, go away. It says Iran launched 181 ballistic missiles at Israel. Trump announced to rally-goers in Waunakee, Wisconsin, during an afternoon event at a manufacturing facility with former Governor Scott Walker. Most of the missiles were intercepted by Israel's Arrow and David Sling missile defense systems, with assistance from U.S. destroyers and Jordanian interceptors in the region, though some damage and casualties were reported. Says, I've been talking about World War III for a long time, and I don't want to make predictions because the predictions always come true. All right, that's a proud statement in itself, right? Think about it. That's a proud statement in itself, saying, I've been talking about World War III for a long time, and I don't want to make predictions because the predictions always come true, said Trump, 78 years old. I don't know why they had to put his age in there. That doesn't make any sense. It says, but they are very close to global catastrophe. All right? So you hear what he says. And, a lot of people try to chalk up, Trump as this idiot. And he is, in a sense, losing his mind a little bit as he gets older. But he does know about, war and certain other things along those lines. He does know. All right, he's not a dummy when it comes to those type of things. All right, he's slowing down in the mind a bit, but he's not a dummy when it comes to defense and a lot of these other different things, war. Because at the end of the day, he's Nero, right? He's a warlord. He's a reincarnation of Nero. He's a warlord. All right. It says the two incompetent people running our country. He's speaking of Biden and Kamala Harris. It says Trump ad, referring to President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. The Democratic nominee are leading us to the brink of World War III, a war like no other. This is what the policies of weakness and appeasement have brought to the world. So you hear what he's saying, and he's making points, man, and it is very true. And like I said, I'm a hard firm believer that in my theory, all right, that Kamala is going to make the presidency. All right, she's going to make the presidency, and for the first time in United States history, they're going to have a female leader that's going to plunge this world deeper into chaos and confusion. Okay, and we already know how the Bible speaks of women. All right, we know how they talk about there being the weaker vessel. All right, and then all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Right, so we know how these women behave and act, and we know that they're very emotional creatures, all right, and they don't settle things by logic but by emotions. Instead of, we have an international conflict arising with Iran, we need to focus on making negotiations and securing some type of deal, all right, to lower tensions, all right, and ultimately end this war so we don't have a global catastrophe on our hands. Women, on the other hand, will say, the threat of our democracy is at the hand. We must strike, and we must strike now. We must strike them before they strike us, because this cannot happen. This makes us look wrong. This makes us feel like a weak nation, right? And then, and then boom, bam, there you go, nuclear war. All right, that's how it's going to end up. And that's necessarily going to be the chain of events that happen, but those are the type of things that can happen out of the rulership of a woman. Okay, women are not fit to rule. Okay, that's what historically they didn't rule. Okay, they were not fit to rule, so historically they did not rule. There you go. So, continuing on, we're going to go and get that scripture that I was mentioning, all right, which is Psalms 10 and 4 through 6. Well, actually, in order to get that, Slocky, I got to go and get this other guy's comment, okay? And you can go ahead and watch this. You can go and get it. It's on Fox News. You can just go and look up, "There will be no World War III. Iran has been exposed." Okay, and it's probably going to try to play here in a minute, but I'm gonna pause it, okay, if I can. But basically, this guy here, Senator Tom Cotton, basically says that Iran has been exposed. There's not going to be a World War III, okay, and that's a proud statement that he made, okay, and you got people that are, slightly more intellectual, people like Donald Trump. And again, I'm not a Trump supporter, because fuck all these motherfuckers. They're all evil. All right, we're not supposed to elect people over us like that anyhow. And on top of that, he's an Edomite. Okay, so I don't like either of them. I don't like Trump, and I don't like Kamala, however you want to say her name. All right, I thought Trump was a little bit more funnier. All right, not that that has to do anything with being a leader, but I thought he was funnier because he didn't take a lot of shit. All right, but I'm not going to fucking bow on the ground and worship him, all right? That's what these people do. They worship him, all right? I only worship Yahweh Shemiah Shai. I'm not going to worship some filthy Edomite that more than likely wears, Depends, all right? So, now that we've got those, I can close out of that and get some scriptures, and that's where I want to do. So, Psalms 10 and 4 reads, "The wicked," all right, and we know who the wicked are. The wicked are who? The Edomites, the Esau, Edom. Now, other people in the Bible and other nations, as well as Israel, can be referred to as wicked, but they are not the wicked, all right? You got to remember the Lord called them the border of wickedness, okay? The border of wickedness. You can look that up, do your homework. So it says, Psalms 10 and 4, "The wicked," referring to the Edomites, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Yahweh." Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. They're not thinking about how to resolve things through prayer or, spirituality. They do things themselves because they're proud. All right, the Lord's not in their thoughts. They're in their thoughts. They're very covetous and self-absorbed people. It says in verse 5, "His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight, Salakia. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them." And we've gotten that term time and time again in the Blue Letter Bible, going back to the original Hebrew and Greek. When we get back into the Old Testament, we go back into the Hebrew, and we get in the New Testament, it goes back into the Greek. All right, and we get those original definitions. And this term puffeth go back to basically blowing air. And it's equivalent of when you huff at someone, you go, psh, man, you ain't gonna do nothing, psh, make that sound with your mouth, right? So it says his ways are always grievous. So he never does anything good, right? They're always bad. His ways are always bad. All right, and there's another scripture that talks about if he does anything good, he doeth it unwillingly, roughly paraphrasing, right? So he doesn't do things good out of the goodness and kindness of his own heart. If he does anything good, to him, it's labeled as a mistake. Now, it's not a mistake because the Lord wanted that to happen, but to what they think, it's a mistake. It says, he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. And that's where that pride comes in, right? It says, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So these demons, these devils, right, really, they're proud and they think that they're never going to be in adversity. And adversity, if you look that term up, and I encourage you to go and look it up yourself, it goes back to, being in troublesome times, in a bad way, right, afflicted, right? They don't think they're ever going to have to go through those things. We've constantly conquered all nations, but they don't think that, there's ever going to be boots on ground situations in the United States of America, right? They think that they're going to have the capacity to be able to prevent those things, and it's just not true, okay? It's just not true. So let's get Habakkuk 2 and 5, or Habakkuk, right? Habakkuk, however you want to pronounce it, 2 and verse 5. And it reads, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he, referring to the Edomites, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. He's unsatisfied, unsatisfiable, unappeasable. All right. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And he's brought just about everybody under his arm of captivity. All right, this devil. All right, Esau, Edom. So, he's a proud man. He doesn't think that he's ever going to go through any trials or tribulations or terribleness. He thinks that he's always just going to get away with it. It's always just going to be, oh, yay. We're always doing great. We always got this missile defense. We got, cavalry units. We got, boots on ground units. We got, bombs and tanks and guns and munitions and all these different things that are going to be able to bail us out. Not that the fact that, the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the Father and the Son, could, cause something terrible to come against this people and that they wouldn't be able to do anything about it. No. They'll somehow be able to find their way out of this situation, right? They'll somehow be able to deliver themselves. Which is ridiculous, and it's just pride, man, because he's proud. And we know what happens, with pride. Let's go to Proverbs 16 and 18. Proverbs 16 and 18 reads, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than divide the spoil with the proud. Okay, and that these devils, man, they don't realize that pride goeth before destruction. Okay, when you're proud, I can do much better than you. I am the king of the king of the kings of the world. I am God. All right, I am God. That's what these Edomites think. They think they're God. They think they're the King of Kings. They think they're the Ancient of Days, right? They think that they're, somehow going to usurp, like it even says in the scriptures, I shall become like the Most High. I will sit in the throne. I will become like the Most High. They think that somehow they're going to usurp authority over the Lord and dethrone him, which is completely ridiculous. And it shows you the extent of this devil's pride and their arrogance, and really their out of touchness, their lack of reality. Right, within their mind. They think somehow the omnipotent being, Lord of Lords, King of Kings, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, the Father and the Son, the unlimited spiritual power, creator of the earth, Yahweh, somehow that they're more powerful than him and them, right? Somehow. Like that, think about the pride. Think about the level of pride that it takes and the level of delusionalness it takes to think that you're better than he that created the world and everything, man. The trees and the birds and the cycle of time and everything. And you yourself, you who you are, and your spirit that is dwelling within you thinking like that. It's just unfathomable. It really is unfathomable, but lo and behold, that's what they do. So let's get Revelation 6 and 13. This is just a quicker little lesson anyway. I'm not entirely sure how long I've even been going. I wonder if it'll tell me. 14 minutes. Okay. So, let's go and get Revelation 6 and 13 through 17. And it says, and the stars of heaven. So this is ultimately, because I said I wasn't going to talk on it too much, but the ultimate situation that's going to happen is mentioned right here as we're about to get in Revelation 6. And there is going to be World War III. Okay, regardless of how much you want to believe it or not, or how much you think you're going to somehow be able to defend against it, or, you're going to somehow replace the Lord in that time, whatever this devil's crazy freaking delusion is, it's not going to work, all right? And ultimately, there is going to be World War III, all right, that's going to be initiated by a multitude of nations, and really initiated by Yahweh Shem Yahushai, okay? And during that point, and after that point, Yahushai, the Son, who you call Jesus Christ ignorantly, you ignorantly call him Jesus Christ, and you ignorantly call the Father God. All right, the true name of the Father is Yahweh. The Son's name is truly Yahushai. Okay, and that's why we call on those names over here. We don't call on false names. We use the true Hebrew names. They're Hebrew. All right, well, the Son's Hebrew, and, the Father, of course, it would be, you're generally like unto what your Son is. So, the Father is in theory, he speaks Hebrew as well. Okay. And because his people are the Hebrews, in order to communicate with your people, you'd have to be able to speak their language, which is Hebrew. And the Lord is the Lord. He can do whatever he wants. If he wanted to speak in all the languages, he could speak in all the languages, right? So, but, being that this Bible was originally instructed to be written by Yahweh, and he instructed the Hebrews to do it, it was written in Hebrew, all right? So that's just how it goes. So the Father's name is Hebrew, as well as the Son's name is Hebrew. That's just how it goes. You don't like it? Sorry, don't know what to tell you, all right? But the Son, all right, Yahushai, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, is going to come back during this time of trouble, all right, because you're going to have Jacob's trouble. There's a lot of things that lead up. You're going to go into Jacob's trouble, and during Jacob's trouble is when, there's many prophecies have yet to fulfill. There's a couple main ones. We got, Jacob's trouble, World War III, Mark of the Beast, all right, and not in that necessarily order. But, we're going to have Jacob's trouble pop off, which more than likely is going to bring forth the mark of the beast, all right, because you're going to have to do this because of food or some shortage, right? And then, you're going to have World War III that pops off. And when World War III pops off, I forgot to mention the final prophecy is Yahushai's return and the destruction of Babylon the Great, okay, which is going to happen, when in that World War III frame, right? Because the ICBMs, all right, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, are really what's being mentioned as we're going to get in here, those stars of heaven falling. And it's going to lead to the destruction of Babylon the Great, America, right, United States. So Revelation 6 and 13, all right, and I think I said it 3 times, so let me say it again, 6, right? So now I've said it 4 times, so I didn't say 666 now, right? So Revelation 6 and 13 says, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So you got to realize this is written in the perspective of people that were around in those days and visions that they were having. Okay, there's certain things that they weren't able to, they're not going to say, oh yeah, that was a bomb. They didn't know what a bomb was back then. They're not going to say, oh yeah, it was a gun. They don't know what a gun was back then. All right, you got to put into perspective of what they were seeing. All right, and stars of heaven falling on the earth. If you look at how ICBMs, all right, look, if you go and watch those videos. As a matter of fact, go and watch those videos. And those were just missiles. But, we're dealing with intercontinental ballistic missiles, which are really nuclear warheads. But go and watch the videos of the bombs that got dropped on Iran by that got dropped on Israel by Iran. Watch how they fall from, seemingly from the heavens, all right? Watch how these stars fall from the heavens, because that's what they look like. They look like shooting stars falling from heaven, all right, onto earth, okay? And that's what you got to put into perspective of how they were, what they were seeing and how they vocalized that, all right, and wrote that down. Because they're not going to say, oh, it was bombs. They didn't know what bombs were. Bombs weren't a thing back then. Okay, so they had to, and I'm sure they had some type of archaic form of bomb, but not in any capacity as the ICBMs that we know today. But verse 13, it says, and the stars of heaven, these bombs, right, these nuclear warheads, fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, because fig trees, these figs fall off the trees. It says, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. Boom! Whoosh, rolls out like a scroll. Right? Like a nuclear, if you've ever seen a nuclear mushroom cloud. It says, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. It doesn't mean, physically that, Mount Everest was just gone. All right, it doesn't mean that, but, it's a figure of speech, all right? And it's, the with very great strength, all right, were where things blown apart and destroyed and moved in a sense. Okay, it says, and the kings of the earth, these rulers, these Edomite rulers, and the kings of the earth, primarily these Edomite rulers and other rulers as well, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, everybody, right? And every free man hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains. So they're going to try to go in these dens. And, they're already building these nuclear missile shelters and nuclear shelters, fallout shelters within these mountains. All right, you can go and look that up. Billion dollar fallout shelters built in mountains. Just type that in. All right, go and do your research and go and look those up. And they're underground and mountains, wherever you can get them, they put them there. All right, and there's quite a large wealthy ones for billionaires that are being built within these mountains. You can go and look that up. All right, and they actually show you inside of them a little bit and conceptual designs. Right. It says, and they said, right, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. So hide us from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, hide us from the wrath of the Lamb. Hide us from Yahushai's wrath. Hide us from the Most High. Right? Why? For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Who shall be able to stand this? This isn't fair, man. And that's how they're gonna be. They're gonna be crying, and as it says, there's gonna be weeping and gnashing of teeth. It's that's how they're going to be crying, and have that snot running down the nose. All right, they're gonna have to do that, that wipe with their arm, right? You're gonna have people, casting down their idols, as other scriptures say. So as Elder Natazatba has said, they're gonna be these Muslims are gonna be taking off their turbans and stomping them. You piece of shit, right? Allah, why did you not save me, Allah? And they're gonna be stomping on their turbans. All right. They're going to be, these Indians, man, these red dot Indians, they're, Shiva, why did you not save me? They're going to be fucking throwing their idols down, these things they made of clay and idols, your eyes for soaking me. Why did you not save me? You're going to have these Christians, all right, they're going to even be throwing the Bible down, calling the Most High all sorts of night. He's black. It's probably they won't even have that thought. They might have that thought for a split second, and then they're going to go from that to, oh shit, he's black. And they're going to realize all the terrible atrocities and things that they've said against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the things that they've done towards the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the transatlantic slave trades, the murders and the deaths and the tortures and the rapes and the robberies and the pillaging, and all these different things that they've done towards our people. And really, they're not going to really... They're not going to have too much time to really be cursing the Most High and calling him names, because it's going to go from calling him names to, oh shit, I'm really fucked right now. Uh-oh. All right? And they're probably going to, honestly, literally, not even being funny here, they're probably honestly going to defecate and piss themselves. All right? Piss and shit themselves. All right? Being that scared. They're going to be trembling. Some of them might even pass out from fear. All right? It's going to be a very bad time for these people. These people are going to, when they go through this situation that they said was never going to happen. All right? And just imagine that, a world bred in white supremacy finally being revealed, that this was all the Lord is himself and his son are melanated so-called black individuals, and that they're the true power. And imagine how these Edomites are going to feel, man. Imagine when they realize in that moment that white supremacy has no cause. All right, that there's no such thing as white supremacy, because really supremacy is for the melanated. They're not gonna. Oh man, to see their face. Lord willing, I'm there, and Lord willing, myself as well as my wife and family, you brothers and sisters out there and your families, families is in in this truth, are delivered, and we get like a view from the chariots, and we get to watch this unfold, man, and see these things. All right, and up close, right? We get like, I don't know, sometime maybe the chariots will have some type of like, crazy space age telescope that you'll be able to see like you were down on the ground, but you aren't really there. All right. Like with that space age technology, that sci-fi stuff, where like maybe they'll have a big, like almost like a television screen where like you'll be able to like get close-ups on what's happening to the people. We don't necessarily know, but maybe there'll be something like that where you'll be able to watch this evil, befall these people, man. And it's going to be great. And Lord willing, we're there to experience it as members of the elect. And, after dancing and hugging and, tears, I'm sure that are going to be shed, and, being able to see, Yahushai looking like the ultimate Jake, all right, as Elder Manata Zakba always says, the ultimate Jake, decked in the finest clothes, and just to be able to see him for the first time in, ages, in this lifetime at least, because we haven't seen him in this life. First time in this lifetime, and first time in ages, right? And hey, man, it's going to be a beautiful thing, Lord willing, we're there to, and that we're saved, right? But let's get Malachi 4:1, and we're going to go ahead and get it, and then that's where we're going to close out. So Malachi 4:1 reads, and remember, this is going to happen. And remember, we're going back to where we were talking about the pride earlier. And this scripture mentions both those things, the destruction and the pride. Malachi 4:1, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise, with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall, and ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet, in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. And it's coming, man. Global catastrophe is coming. World War III is coming, regardless of how much you devils want to say it's not. It absolutely is, and there's nothing you can do to avoid it. With that, we're going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I want to say shalom to your brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. This society is going to go out with a brutal punishment, and Lord willing, we're in the chariots and part of the elect, and we get to see that from the safety of the chariots under the Lord's wing. All right, until next one, Lord willing, shalom.